I'm so glad you decided to spend some time with me again today. So, I want to tell you a little bit about the tradition I come from, which is, yes, I'm Jewish, obviously, that's no secret, but the tradition of looking at the Bible like this beautifully cut and polished gem. You don't just look at it like this and say, oh, okay, that's nice, and you had enough. No, you turn it and you look at it another way and you see something a little different. It's the same thing, it hasn't changed, but your point of view is a little different. And it might look even more beautiful to you from that other point of view. And another part of my tradition, which I connect that to the same thing, is the idea of Bible interpretation, of not assuming that it's all to be taken literally. I mean, there's like the genealogies and that kind of stuff. Obviously, yeah, you know, this person is the child of that person is the child of, okay, yeah, that's fairly literal, but there's things in there that if you've ever seen an open Torah scroll and you see, well, even in the Chumashim that we use, the translations that we have, the Hebrew and the English side by side, usually shows this also, that there are places where there are songs and poems that they're written differently. You know, it's not the same regular columns. The words are aligned in a way that you can see that it's something different. And it's so beautiful. And if you've never had a chance to see it, you know, find a way to get to see that, because it's really cool. I know I'm such a geek. Anyway, but that's fine. Anyway, so keeping in mind a non-literal interpretation, I do want to talk today about in the book of Devarim, that's Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 5. If you looked it up ahead of time, you already know what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to read you here the translation that I have. It says, "A woman must not put on a man's apparel, nor shall a man wear women's clothing, for whoever does these things is abhorrent to the Lord your God." It's not meant to be taken literally, okay? Just so that's clear, because that is a very limited view and it makes a lot less sense. First thing that I do want to say, that I think is cool, and I actually found this out in communicating with my rabbi about preparing a lesson about this verse to be shared with my synagogue community. So even in the translation, there's two different words used for clothing for men and women, and it's not about it being men and women. It's about there's two different words in Hebrew also, and the word that is used for men's clothing in Hebrew in this verse, kli, has several different meanings. And it can mean tool, it can mean instrument, it can mean weapon, and it could also mean clothing. And to me, that's a signal right away, hey, there's more going on in this verse than a simplistic literal translation, a simplistic literal meaning. So, where was I going? So another part, I'm not completely shifting gears, just again, part of my tradition is that anything humans can do, God can do better. Okay? So bearing that in mind, if a human is able to be a loving, compassionate, accepting parent who would be joyful at finding out something new about their child, you know, all the more God would be happy and joyful to see us expressing our inner selves. And to me, that's what this verse is really about. It's about saying, don't use the clothing, instruments, tools, the trappings of daily life to hide. This verse is not about, match your clothes to your private parts. That's not it. It's let what you're doing with your outside express who you are inside. Be you. Be your true self. It's a good thing. We're all created how we're created. I like to think there's a reason, and sometimes we figure it out and it's really obvious, and sometimes not so much. But we are who we are, and I believe that we are actually here basically being ordered not to hide ourselves. So really it's the opposite of what people think it is. So if anyone ever pulls this verse out of their hat to try to tell you that you shouldn't be, having the clothes or the hair or the whatever that you're doing, they're mistaken. They're mistaken. And you can share this other view of the beautiful gem that is the Bible. So I mentioned that. There's a couple of other interesting applications that I see for this verse. It's not all just about the LGBT plus. For example, there can be a family business, and maybe you're really into it. You have an aptitude for whatever that family business is, and you're very involved, and that's fantastic. But maybe you're not. Maybe it's something you're no good at, or you can't find your place in it, or it just seems wrong to you for some reason. We shouldn't hide what's going on inside. It's okay to talk it out and to work out a way that you can still be involved with the people you love and care about, but in a way that is meaningful for you. And the same is true if it's somebody else, by the way. Anything I'm saying to you, you can apply to your interactions of being accepting with other people. That is really, really important. And that's something I think a lot of people forget. Okay, so next, another application for this verse that I see is religion. Well, of course, religion, it's the Bible. But, sometimes people are born into a religious tradition that doesn't speak to them. It's not who they really are. And I'm not trying to convert anybody, because I don't think that's cool. I'm okay with my religion. Maybe you're okay with yours. It's all good. But I've heard some really cool stories about people just figuring out that part of themselves and finding the group that they belong with. And I just think that's fantastic. And, whoever you are, it's a good thing. It's fine. As long as you're being a good version of you and not a not nice version of you. And, that's a choice. It's a choice in not just how we treat ourselves, but how we treat other people. And the same as we want people to accept something different about ourselves. We need to be accepting when other people say, hey, well, here's something about me that you didn't know. And so it goes both ways. And okay, so I wanted to mention, since at the time of this recording, we are still in the midst of the global pandemic, especially here in the United States, it's still things are not quite going back to normal yet. So this is a time, and and maybe really it's always the right time, the time to say, okay, before things get totally back to full speed again, I'm going to start expressing this aspect of myself I haven't been expressing to the people around me before. And, I would always say, make sure you're safe to do that. And if you believe that you are not safe to do that, then, your safety is of primary importance. Your safety, your well-being, take care of yourself, because that is really, really important. But all else being equal, yeah, just be you, and, give the world a chance to love and accept you as you are on the inside. So, with that, as we wind down, I just want to take a minute. You can close your eyes with me if you'd like, or not. And just take a breath. And let it out. And feel that loving energy that flows through the universe all the time. And it connects us all the time. And we don't feel it every minute, but that's why we slow down, so we can feel that connection and feel that love. And feel that I'm reaching out to you with a big mama hug right now. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.